Now let me invite Mr. Vaibhav Dalvi to take the stage and give us his thoughts on how the energy storage is going to take us to the next level of energy transition. Over to you, sir.
Very good afternoon, I would say, and first of all, I'm thankful to the organizer for giving this opportunity to be here. This is my second time, by the way. I was here last year also, and this is my second opportunity like this. What I've seen that really the enormous passion for renewable energy here. This morning when I met a couple of people here, especially when I was talking with Everrenew guys, I asked them, there is a flooding situation outside, how did you manage? They simply said, we started quite early. Yeah. So looking at the Tamil Nadu state also, I trust and I also have that kind of strong belief. It's really the sector has started quite early, not just early, but actually quite progressing well. And it's preparing kind of, I would say, examples for many, many other states, how to really, move on this path with really concrete belief and passion that you guys have shown since morning. Yeah. So first of all, congratulations to many of you or every of you who has come this morning and made this kind of event, starting on time. Yeah. With that note, I would just like to be on my slides, but before that, I just can give another context. Just a couple of days back, I was in New Delhi. Yeah, there was another FICCI event. It was on energy storage conference. It was attended by ministries. MNRE was there, CA was there, VK Saraswati was there, and I was given some similar slot there to speak on. But I can see there are a lot of things are happening. Yeah. It's really, really glad to see the kind of, ideas and thoughts and vision is coming up with this kind of policy makers. Of course, we know the target of 500 gigawatt by 2030. But to achieve this target of RE, yeah, we need to always look into what's available for energy storage. Yeah, and in fact, that target also been discussed very, very widely. And I can see for overall the target for energy storage is really more than 300 gigawatt hour by 2030. In that battery, I would say simply more than 200 gigawatt hour. So looking at that, I could see there are quite exciting time with us, and everybody acknowledges that the storage is required for energy transition we are talking about. Yeah. Of course, my fellow colleagues were talking about challenges and other stuff, but I believe this is a transition. Yeah, transition always starts with challenges. Of course, there is challenges from policies, challenges from infrastructure, challenges from well-skilled manpower, but all these challenges would be, I would say, we can nullify if we have kind of a transition of mindset, because that is more important to really, to embark on this journey. And without that kind of strong mindset, it will be difficult, to really mark our figures that policymakers are projecting. Yeah. With these two contexts, I'll just glimpse upon my presentation, because this is not really I would say, I don't want to really kind of give any kind of excessive information, but enough for today's talk. So prior to going to my part of the presentation, I will just give a glance of BASF. This is world's largest chemical company. It's founded in 1865, so close to 160 years old company. Very strong in manpower. I can say that 10% of manpower is just into research and development. Yeah, so most of the people like me also join BASF from research and development and progress the ladders and take many, many roles as such. So we have more than 234 sites worldwide. Out of that, 6 are very mega class of kind of production sites that we have. And we have every customers in every corner of the world. Yeah. In India also, we are quite seasoned. We founded in India 80 years back. India's strength also is more than 2,000 employees, and revenue-wise also is more than 2 billion euros just in India. Just to give kind of introduction to BASF as a chemical company. But when you talk about the transition, yeah, so BASF is not just offering the sustainable product, but we ourselves also follow a lot of internal strategies to meet targets. Of course, India is committed for 2070 of carbon neutrality, but we as an industry, because gigantic company, we also put up many targets internally. You can see some here, but by 2050 we want to be neutral, in this kind of progress. There are many ways of doing this decarbonization. Of course, there are many on efficiency basis also, how we are putting more green component, how we are actually evolving with the new technologies, and so on and so on. How we are also putting your raw materials as a more green. Yeah, so there are many levers of not doing this kind of transition, or let's say decarbonization. But BASF is moving all these strategic levers to make it happen. Yeah. So again, I said the battery or energy storage is kind of key component of this energy transition. To introduce on these batteries at BASF, we have different teams. So one team is working solely on the material side, that's the cathode active materials. We are world leader in that. And that particular material goes into predominantly LIBs or lithium ion batteries. We as a team work more on a different chemistry called sodium sulfur batteries. And here we are having kind of strong partner in Japan, that's called NGK Insulators, who actually kind of manufactures as of now, but they have very strong record of 20 years of track record of this battery deployed globally in different locations. So BASF actually has kind of strategic collaboration with this company. It's not just on a sales level, but also on technology level. We are developing this technology together for our end customers, and with that, we are actually wanted to be very kind of successful in this domain. If you look at NGK, is more than 110 years old company, BASF close to 160 years old company, and we look into any PPA, even in India or abroad, it will around 20-25 years. So customer also wants that kind of legacy and confidence coming from the brand, because nobody wants to sign PPA with some of the OEMs and that OEMs getting bankrupt in next 2 or 3 or 5 years. Yeah, so that's also kind of critical factor for the longevity of names in this business. Yeah. With this introduction, I would just give you a synopsis of this battery. There are a lot of kind of misconceptions, I would say, with the technologies, especially in the battery domain also. There are two basic criteria, I would say, in layman words. One is on a power kind of batteries or high C-rate batteries, and one battery, we call it an energy application or long duration energy storage battery. Yeah. When you look about the power applications or high C-rates are typically the lithium-ion batteries, which goes predominantly in EV industry, but I can see they are also kind of trying to flood in also stationary storage application. But low C batteries are normally goes into energy application, and that actually helps in a lot of energy transitions. So sodium sulfur batteries, which are actually not a lithium-ion batteries, this is different chemistry and goes into the energy application, and typically it's very strong, more than 6 hours duration. So when a project duration, discharge duration in more than 6 hours, the sodium sulfur is really kind of the answer for you. Yeah. The lifetime of the battery is also critical. You can see your laptop or mobile phone battery, how long it lasts. But when you look into the energy transitions or PPA of 20-25 years, you want battery to really marry well for this kind of PPAs. So this battery lasts 20 years and beyond also. So that's also one of the key, I would say, important factor of this chemistry. It's one of the safest and reliable. The challenges also come from safety, but this battery never seen a fire for last 15 years, and we are talking installation more than 5 gigawatt hour globally. Yeah, so that's one of the key aspect to even successful into this kind of transition. Just imagine the one single fire, what we have seen in e-mobility also, one single fire, irrespective of any brand, any company, any chemistry, but will damage that entire sector. So also we would like to focus on safety first, and that typically happens with US or Australian customers. They'll talk safety and then later they'll talk about price. Yeah, so that all, when I was talking about the mindset, so we also need to look at the mindset, how we were approaching this kind of transition. Of course, the benign is environmentally, that's one of the key aspects as for BASF also is in the industry. Yeah, this also is key factor because many of the other chemistries or many of the other kind of energy storage, end of the life scenario is not sure. Either they are corrosive or we don't know how to dispose them off. So these kind of aspects also is important because we don't want to pass nuisance to our next generations. Yeah? So it has to be very sustainable and used very responsibly. Very high energy density, they are very comparable with lithium-ion batteries, very fast response being an electric vehicle class. The climate resilience is again a key factor for any kind of battery energy storage system. Yeah, because you can heard about runaway reaction, battery catching fire. Is because of the this battery, typical battery of lithium ion, for example, need to be preserved at very controlled atmosphere. But in case of the sodium sulfur batteries, can withstand from -40 to +55 degrees Celsius, and that also proven. So that we can say it's quite a safe kind of chemistry, especially for the country like us. Of course, the low maintenance is another aspect of this battery. I will just give a kind of this reference slide for installation record, because as I said, there is kind of misconception that battery is not successful or not seen, or we don't know it will work or not work. But in fact, it has been seen the installation record for last 20 years. Only thing is this not really advertised like other guys will do, but it already is there in the market, already proven kind of last 20 years. And you can see the many territories across the globe is already seen it's all the operations. Yeah. So you can see more than 250 projects already installed, and in terms of capacity is already crossed 5 gigawatt hours. Is already, I would say, a big number for any kind of chemistry. Yeah, and as many speakers have pointed out, energy transition or battery storage works on different value chains, right from RE integrations to grid solution, ancillary application at consumer level, especially CNI segment, or a microgrid. I just heard about Andaman and Nicobar, which was probably not so successful, but they went with other chemistry, and that was one of the issue there, to really be successful. But yeah, there are all these value chains, the battery storage can really cater. But India, I could see the major segment is the RE integration that's really happening, because as Venkatesh also was saying, RTC and those kind of FDRE tenders are coming up. So that's one of the application I would see. But also the CNI segment also catching up with buzz of green hydrogen, green ammonia, and there they don't really care much about cost, but about safety and their brand name. Yeah, so there also I could see a lot of movement happening in India, and the green hydrogen especially, where require very long duration. I mean, I'm talking with customer, they require battery storage for 16 hours. Yeah, so these kind of things only possible with really chemistry that's proven up. Yeah, we are not talking about 1 or 2 hours or just 10 years of lifetime. Yeah, so that way is really this value chain is evolving in India also. So I'll not take much time beyond this, but I'll just give a glimpse of again with this kind of a structure of this battery. This always comes as a containerized solution, plug and play. Yeah, just 20 feet standard CFET container. Battery management system is part of this container, and we are just restricting ourselves on the DC block. And that's why we need to really work with the integrator or a balance of plant player to give you kind of turnkey solutions. This is just kind of another slide on battery system design. Sodium and sulfur are the elements that actually we call it active elements. Sodium is anode and sulfur is cathode, separated by a solid electrolytes. There is no solvent here. And yeah, it operates for let's say 7,300 cycles or 20 years, and C rate being a 0.17. So these cells 192 makes one module, and yeah, 6 of this module makes one battery container, and you can see the footprint is quite small, just 6 meter by 2.4 meter. That gives capacity of 1.45 megawatt hour. Yeah, and then about the safety standards, of course, this is prime important. As I said before, that sets the tone of the industry. We already have UL certified. That's actually, this battery came before UL certification started their operations. But beyond that, we also went to third-party certification. This is from TUV, where they tested battery in different scenarios, as you can see here. In most of the cases, battery come out with a very fly high color. Yeah, this is very safe kind of battery, which can be installed very easily. The plug and play kind of things. What we require is just a good solid foundation, and importantly, this battery can be stacked, and that's it. And this battery doesn't require any kind of air conditioning. Yeah, so that's another key feature of this battery. It can operate without air conditioning. And talking about the environmentally friendly, again, the end of life battery is very important. And that's why these slides talk about all these elements mostly are abundantly available, and that we can see, the sodium and sulfur even available in India also. That's why ministry also talks to us a lot about this. But importantly, there is no surprises coming from these kind of elements, because you can see other chemistries are depending on particular country because value chain is controlled by a particular country, and these mines also look quite limited. But in case of this chemistry, the abundance is there. The prices are stable, because in future we can see the reduction in prices, but not the surprises. And of course, the end of the life, there are no surprises from the environmental hazards also. Yeah, so this is kind of mindset I was talking about. We need to look into total cost of ownership, than just look into the capex, because even if talking about capex, probably you end up with some chemistry, and then probably I don't know how long will be association with that particular chemistry, but we look into more holistic structure of any project, to have a successful energy transition. First, yes, capex is all important. Yeah, that's why I'm very glad that Mr. Vinodhan has given a lot of policy support. In fact, including the VGF, I'm looking forward to that. That also sometimes required to start this kind of partnership. But importantly, we need to also look into the OPEX cost, because that's also kills a lot of things when wanting to enter into OPEX, and a long life also another key features, and end of life there should not be any surprises. So with that, I would like to show just one slide here, because it's not just we are talking something which is new. This is already kind of commercialized, and this is one of the largest installation that we have globally, a 50 by the 300 megawatt hour. And when you look into any tender, FDRE kind of tender in India, minimum they talk about 100 or 50 kind of slot. For us, it's just multiplication of this basic structure that we are having, the 2 times or 3 times, and then we are now ready to really enter this kind of opportunities. Yeah, this is a key message. Of course, the transition is key, but we need to take the holistic approach and the change of the mindset, with all consideration that consider to the battery operating cost and other end of life and operations also need to be considered. And I'm sure, India, our policymakers will take kind of certain provisions so that other chemistry also should come to India and get installed and be successful here. Otherwise, I see a lot of fear factor. If the tender is just running after the cost or with a certain kind of specifications, then it could be like all eggs lying in one basket. Yeah, so also I need support from you guys, all the stakeholders, to be aware of other technologies available in the market which are already commercialized and successful, and at least try and test it in your use case. Yeah, so also demand would help for the policymakers to rethink what they are planning for our future. With that, I would like to conclude. Thanks a lot once again for this opportunity. I'm looking forward to questions now after this session. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Of course, he was talking about, we all knew BASF as on the fertilizer and on, I think it was chemicals, right? You were mostly on insecticides and pesticides, if I recollect properly. Altogether, right. So you were into more, we used to, at least in our early days, we used to see BASF more on those boxes which comes for pesticides and insecticides. But, well, that was just what we were used to. But of course, they were the chemical leaders of the world, and they have naturally, becoming the chemical leaders, they brought something interesting for us to look at, who were really getting worried about the lithium ion becoming more an environmentally not really sustainable kind of batteries. And now whatever they are offering is a very sustainable model, and let us look at this as well.